It's been a long haul for the Impala team at American Muscle Cars. They've solved some serious positioning issues. Consistently challenged by today's tucked-in designs, they've tried to blend technologies from two very different eras. But math and measure knows no time.
So are we actually going to try and make the world's first customized 64 Impala that isn't a lowrider?
Well, it's still going to hop, Dan, but
right?
no, yeah, we're gonna give it a good shot. When Dan first rolled up, we were kind of going through the air ride system and making sure that we had all of our game plans set out, and where we wanted to mount the tanks, we didn't want to drill through the floor, so we wanted to make some bracketry. When Dan arrived, we had already made one of the brackets, and I kind of wanted to test his skills a little bit to see if he could pull another one off.
I don't know if bracket is the right term for this part. Perhaps spacer is better. Having one already built meant I didn't have to engineer anything. Instead, I can improve on it. Won't that spin their heads?
He did pretty well, actually, and we got the other bracket made, welded in, and got the tank mounted.
All right, here it is. I think it's probably, a lot better than the one you did.
Spacers under the tank mean there's no need for a buddy under the car if we need to remove it.
Now I'm installing the compressors. My nutsers are in, and I can screw these down.
Get a good look at this setup, because after upholstery is installed, you won't know it's there. Mind you, you will hear it.
We mounted the compressors, put some thread certs into the floorboards, and mounted those up, and then from there it was a matter of plumbing plastic line.
I put some hoses on from the tank to the valves, then from the compressor to the tank.
As a builder, Carlos is a man of few words. Few words, but great skills.
On an air ride system, especially one that has four-way controls, which means each bag operates independently, there's a lot of plumbing involved, which then means a lot of fittings. So we have to make sure that we have the proper amount of fittings going into the tank, coming out of the tank, going into the solenoids, going from the solenoids to the bags. And then now that we have an electric controller, we need to make sure that we've got the proper sending units for that electric controller mounted into the manifold which houses the electric solenoids. Well, it's pretty rare to get an opportunity to be able to run lines inside of a frame. Usually frames have barriers inside them for structural stability, and these 64 Impala frames actually have a pretty open frame the entire way. Now the brake lines run on the outside of the frame because they're hard-lined. If something was to come up and tap them or smack them, you're not going to really damage them too much. When you're running plastic lines such as we are on the air ride components, though, the melting temperature is fairly low on the plastic lines, so if they get close to the exhaust, they can melt. If a rock or something flies up and catches it, they can rip. So if we can avoid all that by running it inside the frame, we will.
The challenges we had today on installing the kit was the passenger side airline, putting it through the chassis. There's a little plate inside the chassis that we had to get around. That was the biggest challenge we had today.
We're having fun, aren't we?
We could probably hook it up right now to some power and actually check to see if everything's working properly. But what we would like to do is actually get the wheels and tires mounted on it, get the rest of the steering and suspension componentry bolted up, and then we'll cycle it through its suspension and really see how low the car lays.
What do you got?
Well, I've got your drag link.
The 64 conversion power steering kit requires a 62 or earlier drag link. For a manual steering car, I had a couple, but they were all power steering drag links and wouldn't work. So I had to hunt one down and get that to work with this car.
Next time you see a lowrider that's bagged a notch and you ask why, you'll know the answer, because it's not easy.
It's going to be a while before we can test the air ride system, but if we plumbed everything correct, shouldn't be any problem at all.